As the first week of November rolls on by, we find ourselves on the doorstep of yet another congressional UAP report. As much uncertainty as there was the first time around, the sequel strives to be a blockbuster. This past week, on October 28th, the New York Times released an article that essentially spat on every researcher, experiencer, and witness of the phenomenon. It ignored the spectacular and traded it for the utterly mundane. The internal conflict going on within the government has escalated, and if there was ever any doubt of such a thing, the events of the last few days have only reaffirmed my personal belief in this matter. If you're watching this video, chances are you already know all about the article, so I won't subject you to the torture of discussing it for too long here, but some discussion is required. Entitled, "Many Military UFO Reports Are Just Foreign Spying or Airborne Trash," with subtext that reads, "Forget space aliens or hypersonic technology. Classified assessments show that many episodes have ordinary explanations." Written by Julian Barnes, this poor excuse for journalism uses tricky language and shines a spotlight on low-hanging fruit, of which Congress has no interest in. The new UAP office was not created to seek out aerial garbage. In a statement made by the United States Department of Defense, the mission of the AARO will be to synchronize efforts across the Department of Defense and with other U.S. federal departments and agencies to detect, identify, and attribute objects of interest in, on, or near military installations, operating areas, training areas, special use airspace, and other areas of interest, and, as necessary, to mitigate any associated threats to safety of operations and national security. This includes anomalous, unidentified space, airborne, submerged, and transmedium objects. The New York Times article even took shots at two of the UFO videos released by the Pentagon. Barnes writes, "One of the videos, referred to as Go Fast, appears to show an object moving at immense speed, but an analysis by the military says that is an illusion created by the angle of observation against water. According to Pentagon calculations, the object is moving only about 30 miles per hour. Another video, known as Gimbal, shows an object that appears to be turning or spinning. Military officials now believe that is the optics of the classified image sensor, designed to help target weapons, make the object appear like it is moving in a strange way." Former head of ATIP Luis Elizondo has stated on several occasions that the Go Fast, Gimbal, and FLIR 1 clips were three of the least compelling pieces of footage in comparison to what is out there. Just from my time on UFO Twitter, over the last few days following the release of the article, I can tell you that people are pissed. Real pissed. This felt like a huge step backwards for so many that were eagerly awaiting some good news to drop. And then things got real interesting. The Civilian Anomalous Aerial Research Investigation Unit, or CARU as I pronounce it in my own head, someone I speak with daily on Twitter. CARU reached out to U.S. Department of Defense spokeswoman Susan Gao for comment on the statements that were made in the New York Times article regarding the Pentagon footage being debunked. Susan writes, "The DoD has not changed its statement regarding those three videos. Regards, Sue Gao, Defense Press Operations." Journalist Josh Boswell from the Daily Mail published an article on October 31st entitled "Exclusive. New classified report to Congress says only half of UFO sightings can be properly explained, leaving nearly 200 mysteries unsolved. As critics say, investigators glossed over unknown cases." Keep in mind that both Boswell from the Daily Mail and Barnes from the New York Times both claim to have sources from within the DoD. Here are some key points from that article. Sources tell DailyMail.com a classified report due to be sent to Congress this week lists more than 150 cases of unexplained UFO encounters in the past year. The 22-page report was compiled by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, and analyzes 366 cases. Only about half of the UFO encounters could be explained. Examples include video shot by Reaper drones conducting surveillance that caught orbs, flying around, then suddenly bolting off. Among the explained cases are brand new surveillance by foreign adversaries, including Chinese spy drones attempting to gather information on the United States. The ODNI source was critical of their department's dossier, saying it glossed over the many intriguing and worrying unexplained cases. They don't want to talk about this stuff because they really don't know what the hell they are. That's the truth, the source said. The 366 cases the source described in the classified report represent a large increase from the 144 covered in a preliminary assessment published last year by the ODNI. The June 2021 dossier said one case had been explained as a balloon, and of the remaining 143 unexplained cases dating back between 2004 and 2021, 80 reports involved observation with multiple sensors. All cases came from U.S. government sources. Members of the intelligence community who are eager for the government to address the issue of unexplained craft in our skies were disappointed by the report's focus on cases investigators were able to solve. They're patting themselves on the back that they've resolved over half of them, the ODNI source said, but we don't give a crap about the ones they've resolved. Yeah, there's balloons up there, and balloons are sometimes mistaken for UAP, but there are shitloads of classified videos that are pretty profound and pretty clear. They don't want to talk about this stuff because they really don't know what the hell they are. That's the truth. The classified report has been sent to the Armed Services, Appropriations, Foreign Affairs or Relations, and Intelligence Committees of the House and Senate. The ODNI source said there are dozens of classified UFO videos on government servers filmed by MQ-9 Reaper drones abroad. These drones operate 20 to 25,000 feet up in the air, and they're flying around. We're keeping an eye on bad guys all over the world, they said. An operator will be zoomed in looking at a town in Syria, and all of a sudden, a little orb will go flying through the viewfinder. The operator's like, what the hell? And so he starts focusing on it, and he just watches the orb for a while. We might get it for 30 seconds, we might watch it for 10 minutes, and then it will do something remarkable, like suddenly bolt off the screen. One tape seen by the source shows a UFO diving into the ocean without making a splash. There's some pretty spectacular videos, they said. The ODNI source was critical of their department's dossier, saying it glossed over the many intriguing and worrying unexplained cases. It was not as detailed as you might hope. It spent a lot of time jumping into the foreign surveillance that was discovered, which has nothing to do with UAPs, the source said. There's a lot of attention to that, and just about nothing about the other 49% that were not resolved. The original release date for the new report was October 31st. That date has come and gone. Thankfully, as much as I want to see what this report contains, releasing it on Halloween would have been in poor taste. Word on the street says it may be out tomorrow. Fine by me. That brings us to the biggest questions surrounding this release. What is going to be contained within the report, and what are they going to keep tucked away in the classified version, away from us regular folk? This is where the horizon becomes a little hazy. As you traverse the hills and valleys of the interwebs, it is pretty much split down the middle, 50-50. It'll be significant. It's gonna be a nothing burger. We can speculate until the moon comes up. It doesn't change the fact that we are still going to be waiting until it releases. Though it is what is going on outside of the report that has gotten my attention and could very well have a profound effect on the next move to be made. Witnesses with knowledge of photographic and video evidence of the Varginha, Brazil case from back in 1996 are beginning to surface. The recent documentary Moment of Contact by director and UFO sleuth James Fox has turned the collective attention of the UFO community at large onto the now 26-year-old case. Another researcher out of Brazil, Vittorio Paccaccini, has reappeared in the public sphere to deliver some explosive testimony on the existence of what would be paradigm-shifting evidence. James Fox had this to say on The Martin Willis Show. I need to be careful with what I say because I don't want to jeopardize our efforts right now. Let's just put it this way, just because you definitively locate something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can get your hands on it. Not a single person that appeared on camera in this film did so very willingly. It was a fight sometimes, you know. Over a decade, Marco Leal has been working so hard on getting some of these people to testify for the first time in history on this case. Most of them were like, it's never going to happen. We're never going to come forward in the process of those investigations. We came across very credible sources of photographic evidence, both photos and video. Vittorio Paccaccini, who disappeared for 18 years, just resurfaced last week. That's a very good sign, because Paccaccini has his finger on the pulse. He was working with the Brazilian military back in 1996, even taking video statements from them himself as a sort of security for the soldiers, that if anything should happen to them, those tapes that were scattered all across the country would be released. And so yeah, he decided for whatever reason just last week, I'm getting back in and I'm going after everything that I know. And so we now have him on our team. You may be wondering what Paccaccini has been saying since coming out of the shadows. Ronnie Vernette on Twitter shared the following. Paccaccini is back tonight in his interview series, dropping a few more bombs. There are photos and videos taken by civilians at Regional and Humanitas hospitals. There is little details left for these materials to be negotiated and revealed. Paccaccini is in contact with James Fox to try to help with the negotiations. He said it is possible that this will appear on the front page of the New York Times soon. He stated that he has military photos and videos secured outside Brazil. He cannot reveal its contents due to an agreement made with the military and is awaiting the green light to carry out its release. He cannot comment on the content of this material. He said the 35-second video likely shows the creature captured alive in the morning by firefighters, as the creature captured in the afternoon by police emerged dead from the Humanitas hospital. The creature was very weak and did not make the characteristic B sound described by several witnesses. Small holes in the nostrils, small tear in the mouth, no ears, no nipples, no navels, 3 long fingers on the hands. He heard information from the military that pieces of bodies of creatures were collected from water in Rio Verde, Green River. He also stated that he has been silent all these years due to the threats he has suffered. A rifle shot was fired at the door of his mother's house. His car was chased 4 times on the road, and on one occasion received several shots in the bodywork. He said the situation just didn't get worse because he wasn't married and had no children. Finally, he said that on one occasion, he revealed to Stanton Friedman everything he knew about the case at a secret meeting held during a Congress in Roswell. And that brings us to today, Sunday, November 6th. Still waiting for the new congressional UAP report to drop. The next week could change the tide of this entire struggle for truth. Imagine the kind of ripple effect that would occur from just one tiny admittance of non-human intelligence interacting with the Earth. But imagine if the Varginha evidence makes it into the right hands. Just last week, I crossed over the 2,000 subscriber mark. That is just mind-blowing to me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help support the channel, I have relaunched my Patreon after doing some revamping. I'm going to be creating an assortment of exclusive content available to those who decide to become a patron. You can send a donation of your choice by hitting the thanks button under the video, or you can send one directly to my Cash App, $YouTubeTom. Last but not least, you can hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, share my content with others. At some point not too long from now, I am going to add the join button as well, because your support helps me create this content to begin with. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. I work 40 hours a week moving furniture, and I would love to have more time to make content for you guys to enjoy. I really love making videos. Every one of you is helping make that possible. Take care, and I'll see you soon.